answer A, you're saying, yeah?
I'd say answer A myself.
Probably answer A, Steve.
That's my idea.
OK, let's find out what Steve is up to. Steve, you were wrong. Steve.
So whilst Johnny's playing with his balls, I'm here to find out more about this. Now, it's the first time I've ever found one, and Jeff's run his eye over it and he thinks a possible military connection. So I'm here in the line of duty at the National Army Museum to find out more. Hey, Mr. Julian.
Yes,
I'm Steve. Johnny and I were on the tower foreshore and we were up against the back wall. And of course, this was sticking out of the mud, so it was glinting like pure gold.
Oh, that's great. Fantastic.
Can you tell me anything about it?
Yeah, I can. That is a light infantry badge.
Who were the light infantry?
Well, in the 18th century, every British foot regiment would have a light company, which was a set of guys whose job it is to get out in front of the rest of the army and disrupt the enemy by trying to take out individuals, maybe officers or musicians. As we go into the 1800s, a guy called General Sir John Moore decided that we'd better have whole regiments of those, so we started incorporating them together. And when we got these regiments put in, they needed their own insignia and their own badges, and this, which is called a bugle horn, is the main badge for light infantry soldiers.
So what kind of age would we have on this one?
Well, it's difficult to take. The size of it, the shape of it, I would say that's probably a 19th century badge, pre-First World War. It's almost certainly late Napoleonic going into the Victorian period.
And of course, when we took it out of the mud, we've got a lug here. Now, is it possible there would have been a lug here?
Almost certainly. I mean, you'll have the two pieces there that connect together, then you have a split pin that goes through the back and holds it in place, most likely on the guy's cap right at the front of his head.
So definitely a cap badge?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. The idea that somebody's hat blew off and ended up in the Thames is not that remarkable when you think about it.
Of course, when I look at this, I describe this as a big horn.
Obviously, in the period that we're talking about, nobody has battlefield radio. You can't shout across a very noisy battlefield. So we have to use musicians, and most line infantry regiments will have drummers to beat out tattoos that will tell the soldiers what they're supposed to do. But if you are a light infantry regiment and you've got to move quick, you can't have a guy with a great big side drum on because it will slow you down. The musicians that are attached to light infantry tend to use trumpets and horns. That's why that symbol, well, one theory at least, of why that symbol is attached to light infantry is because of that.
So would this actual symbol be put on anything else to do with their, their clothing, their whatever?
Yeah, it will show up all over the place. All soldiers will forage, and if you can find a better bit of kit, well, that might be quite useful. But if it's got a great big light infantry badge on it, if you're a foot regiment, you're going to have to either winkle that off or you'll have to leave it alone.
So which light infantry regiment was the most famous?
I mean, you've got people like the Durham Light Infantry, the King's Shropshire Light Infantry, and I suppose one of the most famous is going to be these guys. This is a rifleman from the 95th Rifles, one of the famous green jackets. And you can see on his badge here, here's a version of that bugle badge that you've got there. And in fact, that string badge is something that's replicated in the British Army even to this day. But as you can see, he's not standing in a line with all of his mates. He's out in front doing a bit of skirmishing. He's out trying to pick off enemy soldiers like officers or musicians to try and disrupt the enemy command structure. And that's his job.
In his day, the musician, that was a dangerous job.
Oh yeah, the drummers, the buglers, the trumpeters are the way of transferring your commands around the battlefield. If you can put a musket ball into one of them, then they're going to disrupt that.
To knock out the guy that was playing the trombone or whatever.
Yeah.
Good thing to do.
Absolutely.
So what was their finest hour?
They end the Napoleonic Wars where everyone ends the Napoleonic Wars, on the field at Waterloo. A version, something very similar to that, would have been on the field at Waterloo.
Unbelievable. From my hand to the battlefields of Waterloo, all in one hit, that's brilliant. It's really good to know.
OK.
Well, Julian, it's been a superb day for me to actually find out about my cat badge, my bugle horn cat badge.
Yeah.
And I suppose really it belongs here. When it boils down to it, it should be in your collection, I suppose.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, well, can I have it then?
Come into some agreement. How about a beret?
I'm not giving you a beret, mate, I'm sorry.
You've got a big collection. How about a rifle? Fancy, how about a rifle?
I can't give you a rifle, man. I'm sorry.
The cannon's out the front. I love a cannon. You've got loads of cannons here. Let's have the cannon.
You can't have a cannon, Steve. You can't. I'm sorry.
Our days larking at the Tower of London led us to investigate all things military. Both our finds took us to the Battle of Waterloo. So we found the ammo, traced the rifle, met the army. Really, there's only one thing left to do. Let's go shoot the guns. And if you want to bring history to life with a bang, then there's no better place to go than the HQ of the National Rifle Association at Bisley in Surrey. Founded in 1859 as a centre of marksmanship to counter the threat of the pesky French, these days it's a training ground for everyone from keen amateurs to the world's finest sharpshooters.
Are you a good shot?
I'm not going to say I'm amazing, I'm medium. I think you'll probably beat me, but...
Actually, Steve, it's unlikely, because I'm left-eyed, but I'm right-handed.
And of course I have to wear glasses, so we could tally up here.
I think what we can clearly is that neither of us are very, are very good.
We're all gonna be
but
poor.
I tell you what, though, if we get one of those ones... Shh, no, don't be sensible. Hopefully we'll be able to get a shot with the Vickers as well. I'd find that really interesting in a really mature way. Not sort of childishly just wanting to brass up anything that moves or doesn't move. But doing everything in a really sensible sort of way and observing all laws of shooting and safety. I have no live rounds or empty cases in my possession. Stop! But hello there, Johnny.
Oh, John.
Hello there, John. All right there,
Okay.
Johnny.
With expert help, we're going to trace the evolution of firearms used by the British Army. And there's only one place to start, the good old Brown Bess.
Well, I think you'll be familiar with that, Johnny. It's very similar to the one you found.
That is similar, meaning the same as.
It is, in fact, the same. Basically, solid lead, 75 calibre, and it's fired from this, as you've discovered, the Brown Bess smoothbore musket. And these lead balls were fired out about 1,200 feet per second. That's 3/4 of the speed of sound. It's fast. And unlike modern bullets that drill nice, neat little 5mm holes, this hits you in the shoulder. It's going to take your arm off. If it hits bowed, it'll just smash everything.
And if you hit someone, basically it was dead.
Yep, that's exactly what happened to Nelson. He was shot through the collarbone and went right down, smashed his spine, punctured both of his lungs, and he just drowned in his own blood from the massive internal injuries.
Yeah.
It's a big, heavy ball, a huge amount of powder. Because it's not rifled, the only way of getting the bullet to go 100 yards
To smack
is
it.
to put as much
Punch it
powder as
through.
we can get in there. This is a real triumph of brute force over gravity.
They used to chew these down, didn't they, as well?
I bet it's one of the, I'm not sure how true it is, but yeah, it's
Eat
one of
lead.
the sort of...
Eat lead.
It's the urban myth.
Steve, would you just drop it? We found out bite the bullet means to bite into it really hard when you're literally getting something amputated, so it takes away the pain, all right? We know that now.
Well, I think I'm going to sort of throw in my own theory for this. Originally, these bullets came in a paper cartridge with a powder charge that was twisted at the end. And what the soldier did was he took the cartridge, bit the paper, tore it off, poured the powder down the muzzle, put the ball in, rammed it down. And bite the bullet came from biting the cartridge.
Both wrong. There was a third one, though. They were bitten and deformed, like a dum-dum bullet.
They do, when they hit, they flatten right out to becoming about the size of a 10p piece.
It's called the quibbler's theory.
I mean, I suspect at the end of the day, if you've been shot with one of these things, the last thing you're going to want to do is start chewing a lump of lead. Well, there are several terms that come from shooting. Going off at half cock is if you've got the gun in the locked half cock position. If you pull the trigger, it half goes off, but not enough spark to actually set the gun off.
Okay.
Flash in the pan is if you actually cock the gun, fire it, you get the flash, but the gun hasn't actually
Every
gone
time
off.
it happens, there's a bit of adrenaline.
That's a fact. You do, don't you? You all sit here going, when it goes off for real, it will frighten the life out of you, believe me. The role as a gun was secondary. The purpose of these things is just to get the bayonet 6 foot closer to the enemy than you could if you had the bayonet in your hand. The whole purpose is to fire a couple of rounds to break the enemy up, and then you go in.
Fixed
and
bayonets,
stab them.
lads.
Enough talk. Time to get our ears on, our eyes in, and cock old Bessie.
Because I can't even see the target down there, I'm going to have to put on my bins first, followed by my safety bins, followed by my ear bins, and now I'm ready for action.
Protected.
Health and safety at its best.
Every time.
You have to load these things standing up. You've got to bear in mind you'll be doing this in battle with cannonballs flying around, horses, people with swords trying to swipe at you, whatever.
So they had to have a pocket full of the wadding as well.
They had little
gunpowder,
pouches with all the
wadding.
bits. Originally
then
they
the
would have
ball,
had paper
then you
cartridges. You then ram that home.
So is there any danger of that going off just by you ramming it?
Yes, there is. When you're actually in battle, if you've got a glowing ember from your previous shot there, it can go off, at which point you get the ramrod right through your
Christ.
head.
It's a death
Which is-
trap.
these-
Any
these
way you
are-
cut it.
I mean, they are designed to be dangerous, and these things are dangerous.
Okay.
And a priming pan. Now basically that's loaded and ready to go. So when you get it, just bring the gun back to full cock, take an aim on the target over number 3 there,
Okay.
squeeze the trigger, and it'll go off.
Clear.
That's gonna kick it like a mule.
That tree just fell down.
Right, you've now got your adrenaline's pumped, you've managed to reload with fumbling fingers. The enemy's now about 20 yards away from you. You've got one more shot, then you're in with the bayonet, or he's going to bayonet you.
Okay, okay. It's kill or be killed, right?
Kill or be
That's
killed
what
at this stage.
Okay, I'm gonna cock it. Whoa!
And now in with the bayonet.
Yeah, right.
Let's ask Colin, did he hit the target?
How far was I on the second? First shot was nearer, actually, wasn't it?
Vaughanie, watch that target.
Whoa! It's great, isn't it?
Colin, did I hit it or not?
Yes, you did actually.
Did I really?
Yes!
One shot, expert, two
That's
shots.
brilliant, well done.
I mean, at 100 yards, a good soldier will hit the
No,
target.
but he just hit the
Yeah,
target.
I mean, that's an untrained first shot, probably luck, but, you know, we'll let you off.
No.
Go on, Steve, nail it.
You can imagine Waterloo when there's 50,000 blokes firing these. You couldn't see a thing. You couldn't see a foot in front of you. And of course, that's why redcoats were worn, so the officers could see where their men were through the fog. If they wore green like today, Wellington wouldn't have seen where the hell his blokes were. Your final chance to kill the Frenchman before he's on you with the bayonet.
Tight to the shoulder, Steve, go on. You hit it. You definitely got the target.